Sorry we're late, folks. I know it's only a minute. Oh, Taylor and I were just gabbing away
Yep,
there, and we didn't hear no bell. I don't
didn't
know
hear it.
why we didn't hear no bell, but we looked down and was like, oh, we're
Oh,
late.
that's okay.
We're here, though. Better late than never, right?
Mhm.
I'm John Zidar. The lady behind the curtain is Taylor. She's our charter, and I'm your gabber with all the information on the stocks you brought to the table today. In case you didn't know, this is On Top and Hot live stream. We're doing this for my Discord group, Penny Boys. Penny Boys is a very large group, got about 35,000 members. We're a part of a lot of different venues. Our Discord group is where our coaches are at, and they do everything from OTC stocks to blue chip stocks, tokens, cryptos, gambling. God, they do it all. So if you're interested, I got an invite down at the bottom. It's free. And we got things you could pay for if you're interested, but it's free to join and talk and chat and get some alerts and keep up with people like me. See what we're doing. So we have got the regulars here today. I'm glad to see you regulars. Man, it's like coming into a bar at Cheers or something. Hey, the gang's all here. They're not coming in the same order I'm used to.
Yeah.
Today, Jamie Mendez was first. Ain't never seen you first in line. That was surprising to me. Had to clean the glass on the door and make sure it wasn't Belmore. No, Belmore got here a little later. We're glad to see you, though. We've got the underdog here, Kashira, my regulars. I do love my regulars. There's Belmore, Mark Ryan, random username. Is that the name you chose, or is they just not telling me your name? Anonymous. Bode 10 is here. David Alot. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being here on time, though when it's being recorded, I guess it really doesn't matter. But this is how you get your tickers in there. So we've got 6 tickers already chosen. These came to me before 4 o'clock. We got those already lined up. We're going to take a look at 2 more. We don't know which ones. You guys are going to be dropping them in during the show. My lovely and co-host and friend Taylor is going to pick out the ones that have the hottest charts. That doesn't mean a chart that's necessarily growing the hardest or the fastest. It could be a setup. We're going to let that lie in Taylor's hands. So put your tickers in. Don't be bringing us no dead stocks. We won't look at them. We're looking for hot charts for the last 2. So let's jump on into this, folks. I've got some information to share with you. Bring up my picture. There you go. Make sure I'm on the right one for you here. And I'm crossing my fingers that my highlights all stick. Right now, my computer's running at 96%. It's taking all my memory to keep open all these windows. I got 54 windows open right now, and it's just sucking power out of me. So as we go along, I should get more power as I can close these windows. So the first one we're going to take a look at came to me today earlier on Twitter. This came from Thebes. He's got a couple numbers behind his name, 118 or something like that. He wants us to take a look at SHFS. This is SHF Holdings. She finished today at 66 cents. She was up a little over 4%. Now, this is a major exchange stock, which means if you're under $1, you got to take concern with that. Can't go under $1 for too long in a major exchange. If you do, you get a warning from the major exchange. You get your price up. They normally give you 6 months to do it. Not always, but normally. And what has to happen is we, the investors, got to bid that up to over $1, close over $1 for 10 consecutive days. We do that, they're out of hot water. If they don't do it, what happens? Well, if we don't get it up over $1, they go down to the OTC or do a stock split or reverse stock split. So right now, the company, I'm going to start here on the news and we'll work our way into it. We've got 2 pieces of news here. The rest is pretty much about their financials. There's not a lot of news here. I'm not skipping news. They had a loan out that they just got paid for, $3.1 million. It was defaulted. They finally got that in, got an extra $200,000 in interest on top of that. So I'm not skipping what the company does. This news press here actually covers what it is that they do. They just had a deal. I'm not sure if it was a partnership or a merger. The company, Safe Harbor Financial, that's what SHF stands for, is a leader in providing banking, payments, and financial services to the regulated cannabis industry, which is difficult. For years, access to reliable banking services has been one of the biggest challenges for small businesses in the cannabis industry. Small hell, the cannabis industry doesn't get banking. It's federally illegal. So in this country, no cannabis company is allowed to put their money in the banks. They're not allowed to get loans. It's impossible. And somehow they are doing over $25 billion worth of business a year in this country without any help from the banks whatsoever. Never have, still don't have any. So you got companies like this that have come along with financial solutions. Now, whether they're a bank or not, I'm not real sure, but they provide all of that. Well, they've just made a deal with another company called Bippo Can, a Denver-based consulting firm dedicated to aiding social equity and minority entrepreneurs in the cannabis sector. This is a company that's helping cannabis entrepreneurs build their businesses up, but they're working primarily with minorities, whether that be blacks, Hispanics, women, or whoever fits into that minority category. Those are the people that they're helping. So they've got all the bases covered here for minority companies in the cannabis, from the financial to the consultancy. And the consultancy used to sell their package for $600. Now, because they're part of SHF, it's free for their customers. Now, that's really all the information I've got here. They do not have a lot of information. We'll glance through it as we go over the general information here. Looking at, I'm freezing up. I knew this was going to happen. Looking at the relative volume for the company, way down today. We're down about 2/3. She's been under the radar. You got to remember, this stock's on the major exchange. 68,000 shares as an average on the major exchange is really, really low. Today, she only did 22,000 shares. Under the radar? Maybe. Share structure for the company. We've got about 55 million shares. I don't know what the insiders own, so I don't have a clue what the float is, except to say it's not going to be any higher than the outstanding share count. And it shouldn't be any lower than, I used to say 1 million, but we were at a filing the other day where the NASDAQ said it couldn't be under 500,000. So they do have a criteria. There is a minimum. A floor somewhere of 500,000 to 1 million, up to 55 million is where our float's going to be, which isn't bad. Wherever it is, anything under 100 million is good. Market cap for this company, we're at about 35 million. Financials, well, look at that. Not only are they growing, remembering 3 zeros behind all these numbers, we're looking at 7 million, 9.5 million, 17.5 million growth year over year. They're getting to keep every single dollar. There is no cost for their revenue because there's no cost for consultancy. They're just talking, giving advice, or they're giving you connections to get tasks taken care of. So they're getting to keep all the money that they're making. Looking at the quarterlies, well, that's pretty decent. If I just saw that right, our annual here was 17.5 million. Our quarterlies, looking at the last 4, we're over that right now. We're just getting over it. I think we're at about 18 million. So their revenues are consistently growing and their profits are growing right along with them, considering they don't have to give any of it away. Balance sheet. Don't forget those 3 zeros here too. What we like to think of as the bank, we got about 5.6 million in the bank, 67 million in assets, and about, well, less than half of that in liabilities, which means we got more than half of that in stockholder equity. So we are holding about 37 million stockholder equity to back up the value of this stock. That's pretty decent. Now, the one thing we need to check out here, I need to see, I didn't dive into this. They'd probably be one of these. I'm looking to see if there was a notice here from the NASDAQ about that price. I didn't dive in through all of these 8Ks, and normally it'll just be right there, NASDAQ something or other. So I'm just diving in real quick here to see if there is. No, not a bloody thing. And we got a shareholders vote here. I didn't look at this. I normally check these out to see if they have any votes for a reverse stock split. No, I don't see anything there. So that's all I've got for you over here, folks. There isn't a lot of news. There isn't a lot of filings unless Taylor saw something on the charts that we should see. Basically, you've got companies together that are now helping minority companies in the cannabis sector to grow their businesses. I don't know how big this can get. There's a lot of competition in America when it comes to cannabis businesses. So, and each state, believe it or not, has only got so many licenses that they're allowed to give out. Well, that they want to give out, so that we don't over congest the country or their state with too many cannabis, like liquor stores. Counties have only so many liquor licenses they give out. I know right here in Michigan, we have lots of illegal cannabis stores. There's no way the one in my town, we've got 2,200 people in my town. There's no way that little store up there has paid $1 million for a license to sell to this little tiny community. So we're going to see a lot of thinning out when the laws change for cannabis. But as it stands right now, the market is still growing out there. All right, Taylor, we're going to throw it on over to you for ticker SHFS.
All right, so I have this up on the daily chart, first of all. So I drew some lines here. This one is the 52-week low at 33 cents. 52-week high was 155. And then this line right here, I went through the daily chart and we have, resistance, support,
Yep.
and then support here again. So we've
Yep.
reclaimed that. So that's why I drew that out. And that's where we are now. We're sitting right at that, like just less than a penny above that. So rough estimate there. So here's the 4-hour, and we'll zoom in a little bit. So this kind of looks like a bull flag. We might be able to reclaim this and continue up. It looks a little better than it did because you can see, let me go back. You can see this was like on the daily, especially looked like a head and shoulders here. 1, 2, 3. And then we've had just lower highs, all the way down to here. And it kind of looks like we're trying to get back because we're above this 21 EMA here. So let's look at the 4-hour. Here's where we are now. Not too bad. I mean, we've had a little bit of a spike in volume, but not a whole lot of volume. I mean, compared to everything else, it's just been about normal. There's really no big change. So, so this isn't catalyst run, I'm guessing, unless there was something new that I missed when you were talking. Let's see what the 1 hour
not a lot
like.
you missed.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening, but I didn't hear anything like
That's
big
the only
news.
chart that shows any light to me right there. That 200,
Yeah,
she's bouncing on it a lot.
This is the 1 hour. Okay, so I mean, we bounced up here to like 82 cents. Now we're right at that line where it was like really.
We got about 5 bounces on that 200, which shows she's not eager to go down. She has had many opportunities to crash, but that 50's holding her up. But right now, at this very moment, it all looks like it's letting loose and she's going to dip.
It could, yeah. I mean, like I'm looking at this level right here to see if we really break and hold below it or break and hold above it. So that's what I'm looking at. So keep an eye on around 63 cents, give or take, which we're right there.
Yeah. So, this is the time to watch because she looks like she wants to climb, but her SMAs are coming the wrong direction right now. So she needs to be watched if this is a stock you're interested in.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to number 2 here. Let's get up the right page for us. This is ticker ICNM. This came from James Mendez, first in the queue today. First comment on the board. This is Icon Media. She finished the day at 0005. On my board here, she broke even. I don't know if she moved up or down. I don't see any movement from my point of view. 0005 is a pretty low price, folks. This is the break point. This is where I'll start to look at 000 stocks, is at the 5, primarily because I'm a day trader and these stocks don't move a lot in a day or two. They just don't move far. They don't move fast. These are stocks you normally accumulate and hold. Hope they don't do a reverse stock split before you get to cash in on everything you bought. So I really probably wouldn't have been looking at this had not a viewer brought it to our attention. She's on the bottom tier of the OTC, the pink. This is the riskiest tier, and it's risky for one primary reason. We don't get a lot of validated information, virtually none. Press releases are not validated information. Those are just news presses being passed off to you with a lot of chosen words in them. We're considering, we're working on. There's not a lot of definitive words in those. The validated information you get with Pinks is right here, a verified profile and a transfer agent. This is actually done by the OTC markets. It's part of their job. They're an unbiased third party. I don't know what information is all included there, but it's important information. So what can we tell you about this company? Well, I'm going to start from here, again, from the news because it works into it the right way. The company has had 2 acquisitions here. And it's actually been like the last 2 years, but that's what we've got to look at. This piece of news came out March 2022 when the company acquired Eastwind 8, a Singapore logistic and fintech company. Logistic meaning shipping company. Then in May of 2023, they made another acquisition of, let's call it Kura. I don't know, Kura. So this is the information we've got about them. Icon Media is the parent company of Eastwind 8, a Singapore-based digital network platform that enables businesses to conduct e-commerce with full integration of the shipping network. Also included is the automatic route planning, live tracking, private network, and many value-added services. Once the platform is further enhanced and deployed, the service partner network will expand to cross-border logistics, insurance, fintech, marketing, business transformation, IT services, and purchasing and consultation. Getting more information about these 2 deals. Kura, on December 26, entered into an agreement with Eastwind 8. Eastwind 8 purchased 100% of Kura. The purchase price was $125 million. That's something not to be overlooked here, folks. It wasn't $1.2 million or $12 million. It was $125 American million dollars. So that's a huge price here. Let's get some more information. This company, Kura, has 18 copyrights, owns 4 trademarks. They have more than 100,000 industrial technical users and 1,000 technical experts registered on the platform. Kura has generated more than $9 million in revenue in the year 2022 and is expected to grow. Let's see what I've got here. So basically what you've got here are the 2 companies. The Eastwind 8 is logistics for retail businesses primarily, and the other one, Kura, is for commercial side of business. So that's what we've got going here. Let's take a look at the relative volume for the company. It too was way down today. God, about 2/3, dropping from roughly 20 million shares down to 6.1. That's a lot of shares on the OTC. And just out of curiosity, we're looking up here at how much volume was on the OTC market today. It's trying to update 2.9 billion shares is all we sold for the entire OTC market for all 12,300 companies. They had to divvy that up. Before COVID, we were doing 60 to 70 billion shares a day. Today, we did 2.9 billion. And of that, this company got 6.1 million of them. Share structure for ICNM. Try again. Share structure. Whoa. Oh my God. All right. We've got more than a ton of shares on the open market. There are 12.8 billion shares outstanding. The insiders own a bunch of them. They got 3.3 billion. We get all the rest, 9.5 billion. Now, when you got that many shares, you got to expect a reverse stock split. As soon as the company gets hot, soon as it starts moving, soon as it looks like people are paying attention to it, they're going to want to cash in on that, and they're going to put their stock in front of people who have money. And the only way you do that is get it out of the sub-penny zone and get it up into the dollar zone. So this has got a lot of shares to kick this price up. But keep in mind, when we go through a reverse stock split, so do they. So we're all going to go through it. But I will expect it once they start getting near a penny. That's where most of them are doing it. Market cap for the company, we're at 6.5 million roughly. Financials for the company, well, that's good. They just started making money at the end of 2023. First revenues, and look at that. It's big money on the books, but look at that. It's more money off the books. Out of $17.5 million that they brought in, they only got to keep $34,000. Wow. Take a look at the quarterlies. Well, now things are improving. Again, what did we have there? Short-term memory here. 17 million. We got 4, 8, 15. We're over. We're closing in on 20 million here. So again, revenues are growing and now we're into profits, but still it's not a lot of profits. We are spending a heck of a lot of money for a little money. Why? Why does it cost that much? Balance sheet for the company. They got $192,000 in the bank. Not much assets, right? Look at that. Just about $500,000 and a little more than that in liabilities, $650,000. So we've got a little bit of stockholder deficit here of $68,000. You know, it kind of looks like a startup company the way things are, just little bits of money everywhere, except they're generating some strong revenues. Where's all that money going? Why are they spending so much? Disclosures. I'm sure we covered it, but I am anal. Oh, that's 2023. Look at the date before you go diving in. And our last quarterly report came out on the 9th. If you really want to know about these companies, your quickest and best due diligence is to dive into a financial, the most current one. Disclosures are real simple. They don't put a lot of information in them, but it's a lot of information that you don't have to dig around in a lot of different places. If you jump into a 10K or 10Q, you're going to get all the information on the company from the day it was incorporated. All right, that's everything I got to say about this company. Taylor?
Yes, may I help you?
Yes, could you show us what your ICNM looks like,
Yes.
please?
So this one kind of reminds me sort of toner. We've got just a lot of barcode kind of thing. We had a low here of like 0002. Then we were in this 0003 to 0004 for a while, just kind of back and forth, you know. And then we did have this jump. Now it was a slow climb up to 0009. And that held for a few days, kind of, well, maybe not held, it hit it a few days in a row and then came back down. And now we're kind of in this back and forth again, but we're now in between 0004 and 0005. But I'll show you on regular candles what that actually looks like which ones are green, which ones are red, because it's kind of hard to see on Heikinashis. So, you know, we have this big green bar came up. We closed down here, closed here, here, and then we closed actually 0008 is where we closed these 2 days, except for this one, and that was June 27th. We closed at 0009, but ever since then we've just been down, down. So the ends of these red candles are where we closed. Then we closed here, here, down here, and then up here at 0005. Down here at 0004 and here. So we're just in between the 0004 and 0005 now. Let's go to the 4 hour on Heikinashis.
Yeah, there's no in between.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no in between. So this is why I call it barcodes. You know, I mean, it looks like a barcode. See that clearly. So, I mean, this is really it. I mean, we were way down here between 0003 and 4. We came up just briefly, just days, you know, up here at the 0008 or 9. And then we slowly came back down. And now we're, you know, I guess if you want to call it steady between 0004 and 0005, with the exception of this day. I guess this was during pre-market. We came up a little bit, but we just come right back down. So we're here now. I mean, there's really nothing else I can really say.
No, unless there was a tweet, I see no reason. There's nothing, no filings, no news presses to cause that jump. So unless there was a tweet, God, I have no clue. But she moved up one level. You know, all that work was a lot of work, but she's pushed herself up one level. Where's she going to go from here? Man, these 000s are tough to read when it comes to the chart. Sideways is their primary direction. And that's what it looks like she's doing now. If you're interested in the stock, she's at that point to where if she can break that 0.5 and get up to 0.8, then you got a chance of getting to 00, which is when you'll start getting some activity.
Yeah, that happened June 18th is when it first started to jump. So that was over a month ago. So
yeah, we've got nothing on the news presses and the filings since April and May. So your guess is as good as mine.
Yep. Well, that's about it for that one.
We are ready for number 3. This is Sun Hydrogen. Sun Hydrogen was brought to me by the Underdog. Thank you, Underdog. So Sun Hydrogen, she finished the day at just a little over 2 cents. She was up about 6.5% today. She is on the middle tier of the OTC, the QB. We like to call this the better tier. It's better than the pinks because here you get validated information, specifically speaking, the financials. You have to have your financials audited. A CPA has literally got to go through them. So now we've got actual factual numbers we can trust. That's called fundamentals. We can now weigh the company up. We can't do that on the pinks. Those are just tallied up numbers they throw at us. Plus, to be on the OTC QB, you got to be at least a penny. No sub-penny stocks on the QB unless they're in hot water. You can get thrown off the QB back down to the pink. They got all their verified information, just like you want to see on the pink. Plus, they're penny stock exempt, which is a good thing. This means even though they're 2 cents on the OTC, they're not considered a penny stock because they've proven themselves to be responsible, not acting like a startup company, not risky, because they've been in business for 3 to 5 years, have had millions of dollars in revenues or assets in that time, and they've kept up with their filings and financials. So just because you're a teenager doesn't mean we treat you like a kid if you handle your responsibilities like an adult, and that's what they're doing. So what is this company all about right now? Let's see what we've got here. Let's get what they're doing because I was very interested in this. When I was reading their description, I had no idea there was a company doing this. Sun Hydrogen's technology is currently the only self-contained nanoparticle-based hydrogen generation device capable of splitting water molecules into high pure green hydrogen and oxygen using only the sun's energy. Just like a solar panel is comprised of multiple cells that generate electricity, the company's hydrogen panel encases multiple hydrogen generators immersed in water. Each hydrogen generator contains billions of electroplated nanoparticles, autonomously splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. I skipped it. There we go. Sun Hydrogen is developing breakthrough technologies to make, store, and use green hydrogen in the market that Goldman Sachs estimates to be worth $12 trillion by 2050. I bet it's faster than that. Our patented Sun Hydrogen panel technology, currently in development, uses sunlight and any source of water to produce low-cost green hydrogen. Similar to solar panels that produce electricity, our Sun Hydrogen panels will produce green hydrogen. Now, green hydrogen is the best hydrogen. It really has nothing to do with the hydrogen. They've got green, blue, gray, brown. What that means is how you produced it, how much CO2 was produced creating that new energy. Even if you recapture it, I think they call that blue. You create CO2, but you capture it. It doesn't get released, but still you created it. Green, you don't even create carbon. It's pure, clean energy. Let me see, jumping on over to the news here. What I want you to see is they are expanding their research and development to include other organizations in other countries around the world. I'm back here in December of 2023. Sun Hydrogen enters consulting agreement with 3 of Japan's most esteemed green hydrogen production experts. In February of this year, the company in Kotek of South Korea advanced to the next phase of production for 1 millimeter square green hydrogen panels. On July 23rd, Sun Hydrogen announces agreement with CTF Solar. This is out of Germany, global innovator of thin film solar cell modules to accelerate production of the green hydrogen panels. And the last one, which came out yesterday, if the charts are running, this is why it's running. Sun Hydrogen announces joint development agreement with Honda Research and Development Company. The last thing I want to share with you, they just had a big investor come in. The investor is a credited investor. That means they have more than $200,000 to $300,000 that they're willing to invest. Could be millions. This accredited investor is GHS Investments. You may have heard of them before. They have entered an agreement to buy $50 million worth of the company stock over the next 2 years, I believe it is. Yes, over the next 2 years at the company's discretion. How about that? The company gets to come to GHS and say, we need you to buy a couple $1,000,000 worth of shares. Do that for us, please. And they do it. That's great. So we got a lot of money coming in. We got a lot of people working on their product. And let's face it, this is hot technology. This is a solar panel that you just pour water into and creates hydrogen, which is then used to create electricity or used for hydrogen vehicles. I mean, it's fantastic, folks. I did not know they had this. So what is the relative volume around the company's big news today? Well, yesterday's news, she's still running. She's normally doing 4.1 million shares a day. That's an average. There could be some numbers really higher than that. There could be some numbers really lower than that. I like to run over to Yahoo Finance, hit historical data on the ticker, and see every day's volume. See if there's a trend. See if it's building up or building down. Today, we were up over 27 million. So there is a lot of excitement around this company right now. Oh, shoot. Got a lot of shares. We got billions here too. We got over 5 billion shares outstanding. Insiders only own about 4 million of them. We get all the rest, 5 billion. Now we're up at 2 cents right now, and they haven't done a reverse stock split. And I'm believing the stock is starting to catch some attention. It's starting to get hot. They could be right around the corner having a breakthrough with their technology and actually get products on the market. I don't know how close we are there. I know that this is an awfully high share count, and they're going to want to take this technology and put it in front of people who have money. And penny stocks are the least being looked at by people who have money. So they're going to want to get this up $4, $5, $6. They're going to want to push this up. So I'd be looking for a reverse stock split. Now, here's the thing. They don't have to announce it. It may have already been voted on, may have already been approved. A lot of these companies pre-approve reverse stock splits, and they have a year to use them at their discretion, which means when they choose to use them, they don't have to tell you with the news press or put out a filing. You just wake up and it's a done deal. So you could either go through every 8K, see if you could find it.
I was going to say, isn't there a way to check to see if they voted for one?
Yeah. The best way I found now, sometimes if you're like on charts like Taylor uses, they'll tell you if there's been a reverse stock split.
Yeah,
but that's not if one's been voted on. So what I do is I go to Google. I put in the ticker, the name of the company, and 2 other words, split and consolidation. If there's been a split anytime, it's going to come up or it's been voted on. You can also put in meeting, shareholder meeting. That'll tell you when they voted on one. And there's a lot of companies that have them sitting on the table right now. So I'd be looking before I jumped into this company to see if they've at least approved a reverse stock split. Current market cap on the company, we're just over 100 million. Financials, are they making any money yet? No. Research and development. That means they need money. Well, after seeing $50 million investment coming in at the discretion of the company, I don't think we have to worry about a public offering. Thank you very much. We got enough shares on the market. We don't need any more. Looking at the balance sheet, how they doing? Wow. They got a lot of money in the bank. Remember those 3 zeros? They got $39 million in the bank for a penny stock. That's a lot of money. $45 million in assets. Is that right? What? Only $500,000 in liabilities? How does a research and development company not have serious liabilities? Wow. So we should have huge stockholder equity for a penny stock. We've got $44 million worth of stockholder equity. This is what our stock price is based on. Things like that. No, they're not making any money, but they got over $44 million in stockholder equity. I'm liking that. Taking a look at her disclosures, I don't think we have anything to consider, but you know me, I can't help but look at these because this is the gold on the OTC market. I trust my filings. This is their joint deal with Honda. That's the big news right now. Another 8K. Material definitive agreement. This is the Germany agreement. So I can see all of these are being covered. 42.4. This is their accredited investment. So everything is covered here, folks. So we've got the stock climbing. We're on the QB. We're not a penny stock. We've proven ourselves to be credible. The stock is actually looking pretty good. She's got some real good technology here. I just wish we had an idea of when they were going to bring this to market. That's the crucial part here. But maybe you dive into all of those press releases, you'll get a lot more information than I've shared with you. So past that, it's Taylor's department. What do we got,
goody.
Taylor?
Okay, so we have a breakout. This is
Hey,
good.
on the Honda news? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This was yesterday it started. So
Yep.
yeah, I just marked off a few little levels. Like this was the same one, about 2.0225. The lowest it got was looks like 1 penny over here, but this breakout looks really nice. Look at this. Here's the 4-hour. Well, let me see what it looks like on regular candles, just out of curiosity. Yeah, look, we just like gapped up. This was pre-market on Wednesday. This is what happened. Opened here, closed here during pre-market hours. So that is lovely.
Pre-market, really?
Yeah. So
Oh, what
7
a
o'clock.
shame. Because
Yeah.
isn't this stock on the QB?
I
So,
don't know. This is what it's showing me.
yeah. HYSR is on the QB, which means that was brokers and marketers. We could not even take part in that pre-market trading.
Oh, really?
All we could do is watch it run.
Gotcha.
Oh, what a
Okay.
pisser. That stinks.
Yeah,
Love
because here
stinks.
this is pre-market hours. You can see we got this. And
Bummer.
then this is day. This is another pre-market, but this is after hours. It's very rare that I see that. I haven't seen any others, but I guess it's still trading right now, but you can't trade after hours either.
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's
That
what
stinks.
breakout looks like.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
good if you own the stock, but I mean, if you're
If
trying
you're
to
already
buy
in it.
in, what a bummer. You missed all that run.
Yeah. Well,
Boy,
this
it
is
does
what it
look
looks
good,
like.
though. I'll give it that. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Look at all that volume. See
Yeah.
what
This
happens when you
was
bring a name like Honda in? They've got all these deals going on around the world, but nothing made it jump like this. Hey, we know who Honda is. We like it.
I mean, the volume was like 10 to 20 times higher than it normally is in that day. That's just crazy.
That's what familiarity will get you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like we got another bull flag going here. I mean, we could keep going. I looked back at some of the old levels where we were about, I think it was 2021, but granted, the market was really hot then, just overall, but it was
Yeah.
up at a high of like 30 something cents. I don't know if anyone remembers that or if you were
Was
in
that
it.
February?
It was in 2021.
Well, I
I
was
don't
just
know.
wondering February because everybody was breaking records in
It
February of
might have been. It
2021.
might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't count that. I mean, it counts for algorithms, but for me, when I'm doing my DD, anything that happened in February of 2021 is
That's
off on the
fair.
side as a freak. We don't even look at that.
Okay.
It was fun, but it doesn't count as reality.
So
Boy,
here's
that's
the
looking like it's about ready to try again, doesn't it?
exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say this is the 15 minutes. So you can see it's holding up and we're having these nice healthy dips. We're not just going parabolic and just completely jumping. We're kind of holding back. I think, we've got this pullback. We could definitely take off. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. You can see the volume decreased throughout the day. This was, yeah, actually, this was 2 days, 2 days of volume. It's not showing pre-market from today on this one, but this is when it really started, which was pre-market. And then, um, actually, it is showing it when it opened on Wednesday. You could have gotten in a little bit because this was from 0.0127 and it opened at
Mm.
0.0161. So you could have gotten a piece of that, but you'd have to be quick and kind
Yeah,
of
if you
risk.
had a standing order there. But
Yeah.
that's the thing most people don't realize with the OTC, you cannot get into a purchase on a market order. You can't buy on a market order on the
Oh, I
OTC.
see. Yeah.
You have to pick a price. So you just can't throw your hook out there and grab a passing vehicle with the market order. So you've got to pick a price ahead. So if you see
I
it
see.
climbing pre-market and it's at $5, you may have to go to 520 because it could bounce. And if you put in 504, bounces to 510, you missed it. It's off and running and you're not going to want to chase it. So it stinks trying to get into running stocks on the OTC.
Yeah, that would have been hard to get into. But I mean, this looks really nice.
It
This
does
is
show
actually like
some promise.
tightening
It
up.
shows it's worthy of watching. That's what it says right now.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I'll be watching this one. I like this.
I like the technology. I mean, this is exciting. I'm going to do some more research on this one. I
Okay.
appreciate you bringing us to us, underdog. I do, I do, I do. I like hydrogen. I think hydrogen is going to be king.
Okay.
All right, I see I'm up and I am ready. This
Yep.
is IJJP. I think we may have looked at this last week or the week
We did
before.
last week.
This came from Kashera. I hope Kashera didn't ask for it last week. And yes, Kashera, somehow I goofed, and I'm going to be looking at HYRU as well. I was going to pass on it because it was your second choice. I didn't want to give you two, nothing personal. I give one per person. But Hyru has got some real good information I think is worthy of sharing. So we're going to look at both. So we're taking a look at IJJP. IJJP is from Maryland, Silver Springs. Finished today at my favorite buy price, 001. Why is it my favorite? Because 002 is a very small move on the chart. And when she hits it, I just doubled my money, 100%. She went up 53, almost 54% today. She is on the bottom tier as well, the pink, but she's got that validated information we're looking for. So she's looking pretty good. So they tell us here that IJJ Corp had a strong background in federal department and defense information technology and facility management. They used to. Our expertise extends to exchange processing for commodities and digital assets, indexing, utilizing exchange level platforms to facilitate the trading of cryptocurrency as asset certificates and manage carbon credits. Now, I'm thinking when they say cryptocurrency as asset certificates, we're talking primarily like tokenization. Tokens are normally a piece of the pie. Say someone's building a hotel and they need $10,000 to build it. I know it's cheap. Well, you could buy a coin for $500 and be told that in 2 years when this project's over, your coin will be worth $1,500 or something like that. So it's a piece of an asset. And as that asset grows, your token grows right along with it. So this is some information I found. There wasn't a lot to be gotten. So I'm inside their most current financial. They tell us we are currently incorporating a hybrid version of financing technology, which they call fintech, to host self-service web applications. These applications are designed to finance business initiatives such as business processing as a service. In addition, the company is negotiating with a licensed hemp company located in Hartville, Ohio. We have executed a letter of intent with Hartville Hemp Products. Lastly, in mid-April of 2024, we established a line of credit, an on-fund demand approval, so they can get it whenever they want. They've got money. Now, looking at this licensed hemp deal, it looks like it was done a while ago. I didn't see anything real recent on that. The other information I've got are their divisions. Is it down here? Or did I miss it? Well, let's see. Can't find it here. How about we got it over here? Well, I've jumped over to their website. They give you a lot of information here about what they're building. To me, it doesn't look like they've got anything actually going on right now. When you look at their money, you don't see anything happening. They say they're not a shell company, but they talk about operations they're working on. And this is the sort of thing that they're telling us about. The core business platform employs hybrid fintech model leveraging internal web apps to fund various business initiatives. They are planning to merge with an OTC QB public company. That's what they say. They have to have at least 100 shareholders to do that. Now, they give you a lot of information down here about the different things they're doing. And I was reading through this, but what confused me was when I got down here. Our 5-year month enrollment initiatives. 1,322 enrolled. Already enrolled. Mining companies. 22,000 certified traders. This looks like something's going on. $37.6 million annual revenue first year. Well, I don't see that money. I don't see any of this actually doing anything for the company. So I'm a little confused here about what the company has actually got going on right now. I see they're building a lot, but what is actually being used? What is actually being used to make revenues? So what was the relative volume for the company today? Well, for God's sake, that exploded. Now we're on the pink, and she did 21 million shares as an average over the last 30 days, which is pretty decent. Today, she went up over 284 million shares. You're looking at over 10 times her normal volume. That's incredible. And I haven't found a true catalyst here yet. Share structure for the company. Jiminy, everybody's got billions of shares. 2.1 billion outstanding. Insiders own about 186 million. We get the rest, just about 2 billion, 1.92 billion. Again, we always have to worry about reverse stock splits with these companies. Market cap, 1.3 million. All right, revenues. Those are old. I just noticed that. That only goes to 2021. How about their quarterlies? Okay, we've got some 2023s here. 10,000, 18,000. Last quarter for 2024, 6,000. And they're virtually spending everything they make for everything they bring in. So they've got no profit coming in, no money whatsoever. Looking at that balance sheet, in the bank, they got about $880,000. Total assets is about $1.5 million. Total liabilities is laughable. I mean, does that pay the rent? That's $9,000. So we do have positive stockholder equity in this company of $1.5 million. They say they're doing a lot. They say they got a lot going on. It looks like stuff is built up, maybe like a hotel that just isn't renting the rooms yet. I'm not quite sure. But we're holding positive stockholder equity here, which is always a good thing. Taking a look at the disclosures, whipping and ripping through them. 2022, we don't need to look. And 614 is our most recent quarterly report. That's where you want to do your due diligence, folks. All right, so I could not find a current catalyst here. Our most recent news is up here. Now, I'm going to take a quick look here, folks. We're going to run over here to Twitter. I don't know if IJJP has, go now, you're going too slow for these people. IJJP has a Twitter account. Yeah, nice. IJJP Core. Because it's definitely running, or I don't know if it's running, but it's definitely got a lot of attention right now. IJJP, let me see, that's July 13th. We put this at latest. We get the most recent news up at the top, July 1st. Really? That's the most recent stuff? I don't see anything recent here, folks, and it doesn't look like IJJ Core has a account, so I'm not seeing anything from them. So why the heck they got so much volume today? Your guess is as good as mine. And I've got to anticipate, wow, 53% run with 10% volume increase. Something's going on out there. I would look around and see what's going on. We didn't find it, but something's there. Taylor, show us that chart.
Okay.
Please, please.
Sure. Well, hold on.
She's looking for it. It's way
No, I didn't find the button. Yeah, so here we are. We did run a little bit the last couple of days. So we're above that 001. So that's good. I know you like that level. We looked at this June 6th and July 18th, which was last week. So you can see it. This is promising. We've got higher highs three times, and we've got higher lows.
Yep.
That's good. This is the 4 hour, by the way. Whoops. What the heck? Okay. Let's look at the 1 hour and see what's going on. Here we go. That's good. So we're holding above that 001. And I was looking back at the past to see when's the last time we were actually holding above this. Let me check it one more time. It's been a while. It's been, since last 2 summers ago was the last time we held above 001.
2 summers.
Yeah, it was 2022, like August 2022. So we're above that now, so that's good. Because before we were just barely getting to the 001, but we were in between, so that's like, the highest. We can't trade in the middle of that. So these are like little stair steps.
Yep, yep. And
Yeah,
it's
so
looking
now
good. She has been stair stepping
mhm,
for what, the last 20 days.
yep.
She's climbing out of this pit. This is one to watch. Even the volume is getting bigger. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
volume.
steady, but it is getting bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
what
what
you look
caused
for on
that.
a 000 stock. Steady
Mhm.
climbing, not a picket fence crossing the whole state.
Yeah, this one actually has a little bit of volatility, which is good.
Yeah,
It's not just, barcodes and then move up a step barcodes. We're actually having some movement here. You can tell
which
here.
is interesting because there really isn't a lot you can see happening. So I'm not quite sure what's got her excited. Some more due diligence is necessary, but that's a nice step up she did right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is on the 1 hour, so you can tell that we've moved up and we're actually holding it. Let's say 15. Oh, there we go.
That
Movement.
could be a healthy pullback to the
A little
50.
bit
It
of a
looks like she's
pullback.
bouncing.
Hmm. That's what I think. Um, but I don't know. This is a 15 minutes, so since today, this is the start of the day, right here. Come up, down. Looks pretty good. I don't know what the regular candles look like. No, not able to see it on the 15. Never mind.
Thank God for the Heikinashi.
Yeah. Well, sometimes on the larger time frames, you're able to see the regular candles. That's why I want to see what it looks like. But yeah, we climbed up there and we're staying right at that. This is showing like a little bit below that 001, so that could be technically 0009. I don't know if you can get in on that at 0009, but yeah, we're right there.
Yeah, she's looking to me like she's worthy of watching. She made a big move, healthy pullback, bouncing off the 50. It's time to watch her. She is climbing and she's now getting
Mhm.
momentum. So if you're not watching now, you may miss a big move. I
Yeah.
can't tell you
Oh,
why she's moving, but it really doesn't care. There's lots of people that play stocks that don't even look at the news. They don't care about the news. It's all about the technicals. A stock could have great news and fall, or it could have bad news
mhm.
and climb. Don't
Mhm.
let the news confuse you. Live on your charts. That's where the money's at, not in the news.
Yep.
Let's jump into that next stock then. We are taking a look at Hyru. This also came from Kashira. I'm liking this one. This is ticker HIRU. Finished today at 0028. Ooh, dropped a lot today. 27.27%. She is on the pink tier as well. Got her validated information over here. Looking pretty good. So, what can I tell you about this company? Let me take a quick look at my notes here, see what we've got up. Right. All right. This was interesting because, as you can see over here in the news, there's nothing really jumping out at you. I have got two pieces of news that I want to share with you. Hyru Corporation and Dubai Expansion Gold Processing. And they announced a return of 1 billion shares. That's a lot of shares, folks. They had a lot of shares on the market. There's still billions of shares on the market. But notice there was nothing here talking about mergers, acquisitions, deals. And I found two of them. What's up with that? The first one I found, just being nosy, this is in a news press, the Dubai expansion. This came out April 10th. Merger acquisition of prominent gold mine in West Africa. They tell us that this company, did we get a name of this company? I don't know if we even got a name of it. They are forging this to sell gold down in the Dubai area. This initiative marks a significant strategic move for the company as it aims to forge partnerships with central banks and key stakeholders in Africa to facilitate the procurement of gold. Then they are setting up regional offices in Dubai as gold traders for their own mining projects. These mines are JV type projects, each in various stages. In addition to the above, the other primary objective of the Dubai endeavor is to procure gold from various central banks and verified sellers across the African continent. So you've got this deal going on. Then when I jumped into their most recent financial, I found this, and I had to read it 3 or 4 times just to understand what I was reading. ALGM returned 1 billion shares. That's where the shares came from. They returned them towards an acquisition. Now, I don't know anything about this, but that's where those shares came from. Then I went on to read that the preferred shareholder entered into a binding letter of intent with Qatar Group to essentially sell 100% of his preferred shares from this company. The Qatar Group owns and operates a significantly large mine in Australia. This transaction is expected to close Q3 right now. The sale calls for the elimination of all company debt. So before this deal can close, the company has to get rid of debt. Well, they've got a plan to do that. There will be no recapitalization in the expected conjunction with this merger with Qatar. Now, this is what they're doing. Hyru has water that they sell. They package water and sell it. But you go to any of their sites, they don't talk about that anymore. They're selling that. It is anticipated that these assets, once liquidated or spun off, they could spin them off onto the major exchange. We would get dividends for the spin out, but they're also going to pay us dividends if they sell it for all cash. So either way, we're going to get something out of that. Same applies to any other assets that the company owns. They are particularly here talking about Liberia mining rights. I don't know anything about that. Now, did I have any other information here? Just want to make sure. Yes. Down here, they tell us that Hyru is a holdings company and holds interest in 3 operating enterprises. The mining business in Africa, that's called Liberia. There we've got our name. The gold trading and processing in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, and freight and warehouse services. Now, wait a minute. I got more to share with you. Hyru Corporation signs letter of intent with a revenue-generating e-commerce retailer distributor. I am over here at their website. Now, this was a twofold website. They sent me to either here or their mining. I jumped over to here and found this. The merging company began in 2017 on Amazon as a third-party merchant focusing on selling discounted home improvement products, including fixtures, tools, and other home and garden items. Today, the company is a distributor for many of the nation's largest brands in lighting, plumbing fixtures, and larger appliances. Freight and warehouse services, we offer warehousing and distribution. We execute the pick and pack on site. We offer more efficient turnaround with built-in distribution. So there's another merger. Who is it? It's unnamed. We have no idea. The merging company is an authorized dealer and distributor for the home improvement industry's largest brands in lighting, plumbing fixtures, and large appliances. So how many mergers we got going here? We got the African mining deal, Liberia. We got this deal here. We got Qatar. Whatever the heck Qatar does, I don't know. So there's lots of catalysts silently occurring behind the scenes. We don't have any news presses on these. I haven't found any direct filings that say merger with this company. I've had to pick and find these things on their website, deep inside their financial. So to me, if they come out with something clear and bold, like a news press, we just closed the merger with Qatar, I think this company could run. Let's see then. Let's get the relative volume for the company. See if anyone's paying attention. Yeah, maybe. We're getting close to doubling our volume. She's been doing 69 million shares down on the pink on the OTC. Today, she jumped up to 112 million. Share structure for Hyru. Billions of shares. As I said, we got rid of 1 billion. Now we're down to 2.6 billion. Insiders own a mere 8 million shares out of all those. They're cheap. Why aren't they loading up on these shares right now? Right? That's a question you got to ask yourself. So we get all the rest, 2.6 billion shares. Market cap for the company, we're just over 10 billion. Taking a look at the financials. up and down. We started at 1.2 million in 2021. At the end of 2023, we're at 3.8, peaking at just about 6 million in 2022. Good news is they're bringing home profit, whatever their revenues are. They're at least bringing home money. And it looks to be a little over 30%. That's a nice profit margin. Quarterlies. I don't know why we're missing that one. Wow. What the heck? So June of 2023, we were at $7.7 million in one quarter. They must have sold something. I'd look into that. September 2023, almost a million. Wow. First quarter of 2024, 3.1 million, and then we dropped down to a half a million. There's some wonky revenues there. Something's going on. I'd have to dive into each one and see why they're so different. Good news again is whatever revenues they make, at least they're bringing home profits. Balance sheet. Remembering those 3 zeros? We got about 1.6 million in the bank, almost 11 million in assets, almost 8 million in deficit liabilities. So we are holding positive stockholder equity. We got 2.8 million. Taking a look at the disclosures. Probably looked at them. February is as close as we get. I'm not going to dive all the way back there. And we just had a financial come out, didn't we? We sure did. This just came out on the 24th. I know we dove into it. Let me see if there's any numbers here down in their numbers. Assets, we're at 10 million, liability 7.7. So we are at that 3 million. And let's see here, cost of sales, 3.6 million. So there we go for June. We were at 3.6 million. What did we have for our last one? I think we were looking at March. I think we had March in there. No, we had June. Why does it say 491? And that one says 3.1. Well, that's a little interesting because this says June 30th, 2024 right there. Sales, 3.6. I don't know why, but here it says we did 3.6 million, folks. Over here it says we only did a half a million. Take your choice there. So I think the company's in good shape because she's got a lot of things happening, and what we need is for them to talk about them. The deal, the unnamed retailer, who is it? When is that going to close? Quatar. When is this deal going to close? When they spin out or sell their water business, and maybe Liberia. I don't know why they'd sell that, but we're going to get dividends either way that goes. So that's a thought too. All right, Taylor, why don't you show us what the chart looks like for Hiru?
Okay. So this one has been breaking out, as you can tell. That's awesome.
What was our first clue?
Yeah, so I've marked off a couple things here, like and 0004, 0009 was like the resistance. It was kind of hovering right around there, around 0009 and that 001 that you like. And it was just kind of there, kind of like those barcodey ones we were looking at earlier until last Wednesday it started breaking out. And someone brought it up last week too, but we didn't get a chance to get to it. And it was here. So it was on the way to breaking out. Because I remember looking at this one. So let's go to the 4-hour. This is like really nice. I looked at the regular candles too, just to see what's going on. You can tell we've just kind of been gapping up. And on the daily chart, you can see what started on Wednesday with this big candle here. This is almost like a 3-bar play right there. Really nice. Then we gapped up again, and now we're kind of coming back down. So I don't know if we're going to fill this gap here, come back down to like 0025 and then continue, but I definitely see this continuing. Except the volume's kind of breaking down a little bit, and we have some red bars. These are regular candles, so you can kind of see what's been going on. It has been going
Taylor
lower.
dropped a good piece of information there for you folks. As day traders, you should really be familiar with the 3-bar play. Yeah. Just go do a search, get as much information. 3-bar play is just that, 3 bars. Talk about a tight window. So go do some studying there. You'll like what you learn.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, so you could see that really clearly there on the daily chart, and then the very next day it gapped right up. So that's really good. Well, let's see what's been going on. The regular candles here, you can see, I mean, we've had lots of green candles.
It may come down to that 20.
It could.
It may come down to the 20 because the 20 is pretty important. It's really it's a stabilizer on the chart.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that it's going to, fall all the way back down
Right,
necessarily. This could just be
right.
pulling back.
That's right. It has to pull back. If it doesn't, it'll crash.
Yeah.
It's like a plane that's crossing the country. Sometimes you got to stop at an airport and refuel. If these things don't come down and refuel, they're just going to crash. Oh, that's
Yeah.
looking perfect. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
this is the 1 hour. Yeah, this looks really nice. These
I
are
mean, you
regular
hate to see
candles
a
again.
stock come down, but if it lands and doesn't crash, everything's good.
Yeah. So,
That's a nice landing.
yeah, I mean, it looks like, we when we get these bigger red bars, it climbs back up, so that's good. It is doing lower highs here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't come back. I don't really see this crashing all the way back down to here. As long as we can keep this volume up, but
No, no,
I don't know.
no, we've got dividends out there in the background. That's going to be taunting people. We've got a couple of mergers. I don't know if it's two or three. Those are coming. Those are coming. So right now, honestly, I would think if you could get a starter position on a strong dip, maybe if that falls all the way down to the 200, that would be a good place to get some, because it looks like she's ready to bounce. She's got causes to
Mhm.
bounce. We
Mhm.
see them. So you're looking for a buying opportunity.
Back down here.
Right now, she's heading towards one as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this is a 15-minute, and we're still we're still holding up there. It is, I've seen a lot of these come down at the near the end of the day and then jump up right back during pre-market hours like this one did here. And yeah, so not too bad. Even 5 minute, let's see what that looks like. We're just kind of, we are holding way above where we were, way above. We're at 0028 versus we were hanging out here at the 0009. So
What's the 15-minute look like, Taylor?
right here.
How about the 30?
Yeah.
All right. I was looking to see if that last bar was actually something we could see a token climb out of. I don't see anything I was looking for. She definitely looks like she is still pushing down. And to me, I think she's going to find a strong support, and that could be an SMA. We've got a lot of supports on that climb right there. There's
Yeah.
lots of bars that we could be drawing. So don't picture the worst. Find a strong
Like right
support.
here could be one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that
Mhm.
was.
Double zero
Absolutely.
two eight, which is like right here where we kind of are.
Yeah,
Right here.
exactly. So this
That's a good
may
one.
be a good one to consider because she has so many hidden catalysts that are going to come to light
Mhm.
sooner or later. And when it happens, this is one of those type of stocks that could burst. I mean, just burst, really could.
Yeah.
Ready for the next one? I think you is. You got me here. I'm ready. Let's see. This is Astar. Came from Mark Ryan. What do we got here? Right. We've got some interesting things here. A few things caught my attention about this stock. This is Azitra, ticker AZTR. She's out of Connecticut, Branford. She is a U.S. company. She finished the day at $1.14, dropped a little bit, about 2.5%. This is a penny stock on the New York Stock Exchange. We don't get a chance to look at too many of those. So what is this company about? Well, let's see which way I want to go with this. All right, we'll start right here. The company is pioneering in genetically engineered bacteria and proteins for therapeutic use in dermatology, skin diseases. Azitra leverages proprietary platforms and an internal microbiome library to create new therapeutics that are either engineered living organisms or engineered proteins or peptides to treat skin disease. The company's built a proprietary platform that includes 1,500 unique bacterial strains, and they've incorporated artificial intelligence and machine learning into there, and they are trying to come up with microbacteria that could be used as drugs. And that's what they're working on in a nutshell. And this is their pipeline right here. They've got 3 drugs. Now, when I went over to their website, they were showing pipelines, and they showed one other one, which they called Bear Collaboration, which to me look like the Bayer company, as in Bayer aspirin, the big biotech pharmaceutical company. It looks like they may have a collaboration going on with Bayer. I didn't get into a deep dive there, so that's something you may want to check into. More information, looking at the news. This is where it got a little weird for me. All right, the company had a 1 in 30 reverse stock split. We're going to look at the share structure. They've got it wrong. They tell us here the reverse stock split reduced the shares from about 28 million, 29 million to under a million, 960,000. They've still got it listed there at 28 million, but we are down now under a million. We were. Jumping back to that news. Is that right there? All right. This came from Seeking Alpha. Again, I didn't have time to do a deep dive here. Seeking Alpha, I can't read, and they really don't give you a lot of information. Why can't I read it? Because they blocked me. I've gone there too many times. Now they want to charge me for it. Just like Bazinga, Wall Street Journal, all these companies, most of them want to charge me because I've siphoned as much information as they're going to let me get for free. What they tell us here is they had a $50 million mixed security shelf offer. That means anything they had, they were selling. Preferred stock, units, warrants, rights, whatever the heck they had. They just put a bunch of them out there and sold them. I don't know what came of it. I don't know. But that's $50 million worth. So first, they pull all the shares back in. So now we're left with just a handful of shares after we had a bucket full of shares. Then they dilute the heck out of our shares by throwing more shares on the market. $50 million worth. But wait, they're not done. They then put another $10 million worth on July 24th. Now they tell us over here that one was 6,600,000 units. A unit is a coupling of a warrant with a share. Normally a full warrant. Sometimes they do a half a warrant or even a third of a warrant. These are full warrants. Why does that matter? Because somewhere down the road, a year, 2, 5 years down the road, the warrants can be exercised and cashed in. When they are, they become a new share of stock. So really, this 6.5 or 6.6 million is actually 13.3 million shares that are going in. Half of them now, half of them down the road. But what's up with the $50 million worth? How many shares were there? So we just had a big reverse stock split, which took all of our potential away. Then they dilute us by putting all these extra shares on the market. The good news is the company's got a lot of money. They got at least $60 million now. Got one more thing here to share with you. The last piece of news. They tell us they got a whole bunch of patents, and they did. Newly issued U.S. patent for whatever. A newly allowed patent in the U.S. and China. New patents in Canada. They got lots of them here. How many? Well, they tell us after the issuance of the Canadian, Chinese, and 2 U.S. patents mentioned above, the company holds 4 patents in the U.S., 14 international patents, 9 pending in the U.S., and 44 pending international patents. So they got a lot of patents. What are patents? Patents protect your technology, your information, your science, so nobody else can use it and you can cash in on it if you put it to use. Just because you have a patent doesn't mean you got squat until you go doing something with it. Taking a look at the relative volume for the company. It's up about 1/3. She went from 2.6 million shares to 3.4 million shares, but she's on the major exchange. That's not a lot of shares on the major exchange. That's under the radar. Share structure for the company, as I told you, they still say 28 million. We saw it down to about 1 million. They did a public offering, which I'm not sure if it closed yet or not, but that was going to add 6.6 million. How many came from the $50 million shelf offering? I have no idea. So we're looking at 1.7, close to 8 million, and then a big question mark for that 50 million, which is probably 5 times more than the 10 million, you figure. So that would be like another 30 million shares. So are we up to like 38 million? Maybe. I'm just guessing here, folks. Market cap for the company ain't going to be this because it's going to be based on the new outstanding share count. If it's higher, our market cap will be higher. Financials for the company. Well, they're not making any money right now. Well, let's say they're not putting out any money for the money they're making. They are making money. It's been increasing from 110,000 up to 680,000, and they get to keep every single dollar. Quarterlies, well, there goes the end to a good thing. They were making money every quarter, didn't have to pay for any of it. Now they're not making anything. The good news is it didn't cost them anything not to make anything. Balance sheet for the company. Well, they still got money in the bank so their employees can get paid, about $3 million. Total assets, about $6 million. Total liabilities, we're down there at 1.7. So we are holding stockholder equity. The boat isn't sinking. We are at $4.3 million. Last glance at the disclosures. Well, that just came out today. I may not have seen this. This could have just come out. No, we saw that. Oh, the pain of it all. Is this opening or closing? They don't tell us. I think it is just happening. So that's really all the information I got for you over here, folks. They had a big split, brought the share count way down, had a huge offering, brought the share count, looks like higher than where it was before. Started at 28, went down to 1 million. Now have brought it up to 38 million, and we got less shares in our hands because of that reverse stock split. If you were in it before all that mess. Now may be a better time to get in. They've diluted the heck out of it. You're going to get what you pay for now. People who are already in are holding a bag, sorry to say. All right, let's take a look at the chart for AZTR. See if she looks any better than this information.
Okay. Well.
Oh.
Oh no. There we go. Sorry. I was like, wait, it's there. Okay. So I have this on regular candles. That's part of why I missed the button. Sorry about that. So here's the stock split on July 1st, 1 for 30, like you said. I don't know what happened here. It just pumped and completely died off. So I have these on regular candles so you can see just how much it's like. I mean, we jumped from 363 down to 311 within a day. Literally pre-market it opened 311. So I guess this was the offering. It was way down here because it's just kind of like been holding this down. It went down to like 107 the other day or yesterday, today, whatever. Now it's just kind of there. So if you're looking at this chart on TradingView or something and you see that it was like $100 and something within the last year, that is not accurate at all. So please don't think, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I'm going to be a millionaire.
The easiest way to think about it, folks, we used to see the chart show a change from the split, a big green bar, forward. Now they just change everything, forward and back. The entire chart is multiplied by that reverse stock split now. So the high of 2 years ago of $2 and a 1 in 30 reverse stock split, that high is $60 now.
Yeah.
So if ever you see a price on the charts that look ridiculous high, too magnificent to be true, go see if they did a reverse stock split. Wherever you check it out, again, you can go to Google to check that out because that's going to stay that way forever. 2 years from now, it'll still say it was $60 and the new investor has no clue that the chart was adjusted.
Yeah, it's really confusing, but once you start seeing it over and over, it's like, oh yeah, it wasn't really that high. It was really, divided by 30. Anyway, so we really haven't had much movement since this big old pump and dump. I'm not.
No, she's dead. She looks like she passed out.
Yeah, this must have been where the offering was. I mean, this was just in the last few days.
Yeah, you get a lot of times you get consolidation during an offering.
Yeah.
People are selling and buying shares right at that price and won't move. And once they close it, maybe you'll see a jump. Maybe. It depends how fast they sell them. Sometimes they can sell them in 3 days. Sometimes it takes 3 months.
Yeah, because it's just been here. I mean, this is just a giant
the volume isn't much down there right now, so they're not selling a lot of them.
It's more than it was before whatever happened here, but
true.
Yeah, but it's not. This is not a lot of movement. I mean, I guess it's a few percentage points here.
Yeah, so unless you have a reason to watch this stock, I don't see any reason to watch this stock. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, there's really not that much I can say because I mean, it's you can just see it.
Well, we can move on to prettier waters.
Okay.
However, that's everything I had. Did you happen to find a couple charts there?
I did. I found at least one. We've got STSS.
STSS. We'll take a look at that. I just covered that the other day. I think I did because I've been looking at it a lot. STSS. I do believe this is Sharps Technology. Yes, Sharps Technology. This company went super duper hot when the FDA came out on May 17th saying that you need to be leery of these plastic syringes coming from China. The company STSS wasn't doing a whole lot on the chart. They've got a syringe factory over in Hungary, but it wasn't doing a whole lot over here. Well, when that news came out, the chart jumped a little bit. On the 19th, they put out a warning about those syringes. The FDA did. Chart jumped a little bit more. By the 24th, there was a recall. They marked 4 companies in China not to do business with. That did it. This company skyrocketed right then and there. Now, if I remember correctly, looking at the news, the company had a deal they just did here. Well, actually, they did a lot of deals to sell their goods. And that's the big deal here. The company wasn't making any revenues. The very first quarter, if they were, it was really, really light. Then they start getting in all these big deals. We've got company receives a purchase order for 1 million of the syringes. Where's another one here? Open up down here. Receives $30 million purchase order. $30 million purchase order, folks. Secures SC asset purchase for 1 million escrow. The SC asset is a deal they made with this company, Nephrin, right there, Nephrin. They bought a facility from them here in Columbia, South Carolina, in America, where they're going to deal with these syringes and preloaded syringes with medicine in them. It's not going to be until mid-2025 that they get that operational. But they do have their Hungary facility, which is doing all of their current orders right now. Well, the neat thing is after Nephron sold off their facility to this company, they turned around and put in an order for $200 million worth of syringes. Woohoo! So we've got these huge orders coming in for syringes, and they've just expanded their facility. So all these huge orders, some of them they tell us their value, some they're for 5 years, some are for 3 years. Probably not going to get all the money up front, but they're going to get some. And when you look over at their financials right now, we got zippity doo dah, nothing. And this is the end of the first quarter right there. Well, right now, mid-August is when their next financial is due. That's when it should be coming out. Well, when you got millions of dollars sitting on the table in deals, tens of millions of dollars, you're going to have something come in over here. Hundreds of thousands, millions, whatever it is, it's going to be first virgin revenues on the books for this company. And I think it's going to be a big deal. I think that's going to get this thing to launch. Now, since May, she's had no less than 5 bounces on the chart. And as Taylor will show you, it's a beautiful wedge. I pointed it out the other day. It is a large wedge. The highs are getting lower, the lows are getting higher, and she was getting pinched. And she took a dip out of that wedge just the other day. And I haven't looked at it since. I'm going to be curious to see what is going on with it. So, without having to go through all the pages, that's what's going on with the company. Amazing what sticks, right? Whoa, look at the volume. She is up over 11 times her normal volume. She finished today at 30 cents, up about 25%. Hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. She kicked her volume up from 6 million to 68 million today. Share structure, we're down here at 15 million. I don't know what the float is, and it really isn't important. Anything up to 15 million is good with me, and that's as high as it can go. Can't go over the outstanding share count. 3.7 market cap. Financials, we looked at them. She's got zippity doo-dah coming in, and that is going to change in 2.5 weeks. And looking at her filings, 725. This just came out today. Okay, what is this one? Material definitive agreement. Oh, we got a new deal here. I like new news. On July 24th, Sharps Technology entered into a supply agreement with SteraCare Solutions for 520 million units of pre-filled syringes. Revenues are expected to be in excess of $50 million. Right there, folks. $50 million. These are huge, huge orders, folks. This is what happens when you knock China out of the darn way. 4 companies were knocked down. We can't get any of their supplies here in America. Somebody had to fill the gap. This company is filling that gap. We had a $30 million order, a $10 million order, a couple $1 million orders, a $50 million order. Folks, this is a company you've got to be watching now. From no revenues to a ton of revenues.
Wow. $50
And
million
now,
order.
I'm
That's pretty
excited about
nice.
this company, and I'm not even in it. All right, let's take a look at this chart. I'll bet you Taylor gets excited.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So it looks like, I think this might have been the wedge you were talking about.
Yeah, I was looking at the, I think it's the 4-hour chart on my Heikenashis.
Okay. Well, I got the Heikenashis up. So
Yeah, look at that. Look at even the volume is corresponding to those spikes
yeah.
beautifully. Looks like a mirror image.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we were getting the lower highs, but I mean, we're trying to break out here. So that's good. We're trying. I think you mentioned the earnings report. So here it's saying that it's going to come out the 28th of August.
Okay.
So
all right.
they
I'm
might
1
report
week off.
something.
Excuse me.
No, that's not what I meant. I'm just if someone wants to watch earnings, you know, some people really like
Yes.
that.
That's the
They get
window of
into it.
opportunity I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah. So that's coming up next month. So keep an eye on that if you're one that watches earnings. So that's good. It's coming up real soon.
She's doing exactly what I was thinking she was going to do.
Mhm.
Oh, it's nice. Isn't it nice to see a chart do what you think it's going to do?
Yeah, I love that. I
It's
love
kind
when
of
it
like
does
your
what I
partner
predicted.
doing what you think they're going to do. It's always nice.
Yeah, so this is you know, it looks like we might
It's breaking
almost like
out right now.
it's breaking out. So the only thing you know, when it looks like it's breaking out, then it comes back down. But hopefully it won't. I hope we can hold above this. Looks like we kind of are. Oh yeah, look at the 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Woo! 1 hour looks really good. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Brian and somebody else, Monty, I think, brought it to our attention. And you. Well, of course you, but I'm talking about the people that wanted it today.
Right. No, we do appreciate it, folks. Thank you very much. And it is a hot chart. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is looking, oh, look at this. So we popped up here during pre-market, kind of did a pullback, and now we're just kind of going up, up, up. So this is like riding this 9 EMA on the 15-minute. Looks really good.
I really like this. And right now she is just getting above the 50% mark. If you were to take the center of that big jump she had this morning, all those green bars, find the middle, the top is the green, bottom is the red. She is moving into the green section, which means she's probably going to keep climbing now. There's a stronger likelihood this baby's going to keep going, especially with the revenues coming around the corner, and you know she's got money coming. And the one after that will be even bigger.
Looks really good. Maybe these deals will
I'm starting to feel like Kramer here. Calm down, John. Calm down.
Yeah, I mean, maybe these.
Yeah, looking good, folks. Nice stock. Definitely put this on your watch list, folks. This is a stock I would want to get into. Right now, I'm tied up in too many other things. You can only get into so many. You can't jump into all of them. But this is one I would bump a few of my stocks around to try to get into. I like Sharp. She's doing good business.
I did not realize I was muted that whole time.
Oh, good, because I was talking.
Oh, no. Oh, so Monty just said that it has approval for a split, a reverse split. So I don't know if that's, yeah, I mean, I haven't checked the source on that, but just according to one of our viewers.
We appreciate that. These are things we want to know. So do some homework there, folks. See when they plan on this split. See if you can figure it out. You may want to wait till after the split. As I said, when companies get popular and start to move on the charts, that's when they want to do public offerings and reverse splits.
1 for 8. Okay.
And this stock's getting popular again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got some traction too. I like that. All right. I think there was only one more that maybe we could look at. We've looked at it
That's all we
before
got
with
time for is one more. So good deal.
CTXR. We looked at it a couple weeks ago.
What's the ticker?
CTXR.
TT as in Tom Tom.
C as in cat.
Oh,
CT.
CTXR.
Yes.
Citrus Pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Yeah, Citrus Pharmaceuticals. I was in this company for quite a while. I got out after the last heartbreak. We were all waiting for PDUFA to be approved. Citrus Pharmaceuticals is a biotech pharmaceutical company, and they came through phase 3 trials with one of their drugs for lymphoma. I think it is. I think that's the cancer that they had a drug.
Lymphoma.
And they got it approved. All they had to do was get it on the market. Well, a couple years ago, the government passed a new law, and you got to pay the FDA to get a license now to sell your drug. It just isn't good enough to have it approved. So we were waiting for that date. It came. They said no. They didn't give them the license. And it takes 6 months before you can apply again. It's that time. We're coming up on that again. But here recently, my brother-in-law is still in this. He's been telling me that it's been rising. I've been seeing some talk. It went from 70 cents. They were thinking it was going to close on $1. Well, she finished. She is getting close to $1. We're up to 93 cents. She was up about 0.25% today. She is on the NASDAQ. Let's see if we've got any current news here to consider. Lots of old news. All right, Citrus Pharmaceuticals details near-term milestones. That was on the 10th. Let's see if we can scan something. Multiple catalysts for potentially transformative assets in the second half of 2024. Well, that's right now, so you're going to want to see what these all are. You may want to dive into this more. March 24. Is that the drug right there? Lympher. March, I think, was when they were trying to get their PDUFA. Trying to see if they say anything else here about that. Operational PDFA. No. So what else? Strong momentum expected from positive top-line results for phase 3 Minoloc trial. That's right. They've got that one. So they've got a couple drugs right now that are coming to the end of their phase trials, finishing, completing, and being passed. They need to get these things on the market. They need to be making some money. That's the big deal here. Let's see if we've got any other news. That's old. That's from the 11th. Minoloc succeeds. EF Hutton, 15 million direct offering. No, I don't see anything there. Let's check over on our disclosures. No, nothing there. So I think it was late August or October. The PDUFA is supposed to be again coming to the table, which means if the FDA says yes, and they can sell this drug, that's it, folks. You got a cancer drug that's been approved by the FDA going on the market for a very, very serious cancer. When I first got into trading, that stood out to me. Cancer drugs, when they had good approvals, ran for days. And I was always waiting for one to get through phase 3. When I got into trading, they didn't have the PDUFA. That's a new thing. And that's just one more hurdle, one more hoop that we've got to jump through before we can start making our money. Let's see what the relative volume was around the company today. She's hanging around what she normally does, about 2.5 million. She was down to 2.25 million today. On the major exchange, that is under the radar. Share structure. We got about 180 million shares. Insiders only own about 5.2 million. We get all the rest, 140 million. It's not a great float. It's not horrible, but it's not a great float. Share structure we looked at. What about financials? I bet it's still zero. Yeah, we got nothing annually, and we got nothing quarterly. Research and development companies need to have money coming in constantly so that they can keep working on finding a drug, and these trials are expensive. Every single person's got to get paid. The facilities doing the trials got to get paid. Lots of money go out in these trials. And these trials can run for 8 years, from phase 1 to phase 3. 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. That's pretty much the way they break down. So it's a lot of money. Cash in the bank, they've got 12.5 million, 90 million in assets. Woo, look at that for research and development. And liabilities is only 11 million. How about that? So we've got positive stockholder equity of $80 million in this penny stock. That's impressive. Disclosures we already covered. So that's what we've got going on. Now, you're going to want to dive into those phase trials, folks. The Minolock and the Limfor, those are the two I think have just completed their phase 3 trials and are ready to go on the market. I'm not all up on Mino, but Limfor, that's the one we're waiting for, the PDUFA. I would presume if Minolock just got out of phase 3, it's going to need a PDUFA, a license to sell it too. So what we're talking about are multiple catalysts that are finally coming around, and maybe that's why the stock is growing now. People like my brother-in-law have been very patient waiting because it is a cancer drug that is important. Everybody hates cancer, and anytime we can make headway on it, it's a big deal. All right, let's take a look at the chart for CTXR.
Okay, let me get to it again. I know. Okay, so we looked at this 2 weeks ago, and
she is climbing.
Yeah, so we've gone up, I would say about 20%, give or take. That's just an estimate. You can check my math if you want. I'm just guessing. About 20%.
We always ballpark. Never quote us on our math.
Yeah. That's just obviously a ballpark. So I had these lines drawn. I drew this one just now. This is the $1 mark. So we've wicked up above that, and that's well, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm counting this as one, that's the second time it's wicked above $1 this calendar year. If these in April count as one, there's
right.
2.
We do have to stay over $1. It's on the major exchange, so we got to get up there. I don't know if
we're very close. We're only like 8 cents away now, so that's good, considering we were down here at 48 cents at the beginning of this month. So really good.
That's almost 100. That is 100% jump.
Yeah, but since we looked at it last, it's gone up about 20%. So that's actually really good, especially for a NASDAQ stock, something that you could get in for free and all that. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, look at this. This looks really nice.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. So since we looked at it here
as an escalator, just bing, bing, bing.
Yep. Look at that. So we got like higher highs all the way here.
Very organized chart. That's nicely laid out.
Yeah, this looks really nice. Let's see what the 1 hour looks like. Looks really good. We're right there, right at these EMAs.
And honestly, I'm out of CTXR, but I think it's worth getting back into, folks, because of this catalyst. I think she's going to continue climbing. I think there's a lot of people thinking the way I am. A cancer drug on the market is a huge deal. And we're now getting over $1, which means it's going to start being put in front of other people's faces. And there's a lot of people that like cancer drugs. I'm telling you what. So this could be something you want to get into at this point in time and just wait. These PDUFAs, they're easy. I don't know why it didn't pass, but all they normally have to do is dot a few I's and jot a few T's. A tittle and a jot is all they got to do. It's not a big deal. So once this PDUFA gets approved, and I think it probably is, I thought so last time too, this thing could really rip. Right now, it could be an opportunity for this company.
Yeah, looks really good. I like this. I like the way that it's climbing too. I mean, we got some nice healthy pullbacks here and here.
Yeah, so watch it, folks. She's riding that 20-day, at 50-day. She's bouncing harmoniously uphill. It's a beautiful chart right now, and she's got everything going for her, everything. So if you're looking for a hot stock that's quietly moving, CTXR, that's the ticket.
Yep.
All right, we are at 540. Random username. Damn, I got skipped. Well, first off, we did have a bunch of them picked before the show even started. That's where we get most of them because I do go by first come, first serve. After that, we picked hot charts. I'm not quite sure which one you picked, but it wasn't anything personal, not because you didn't give your name or anything like that. So we didn't actually skip you. You just didn't get picked. The rest of you folks that came in late, I appreciate you being here, late or not. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Luke Farm Boy. I appreciate all of you being here. Monty, appreciate all the extra information. Hopefully you guys are looking at each other's comments. I'm bringing you a few stocks, Everybody else has got their own stocks they're talking about. Feel free to bring your stocks into this show, folks. Even if I don't cover them, share them with other people. You want people to know about your stock. You want people to invest in it. Share it with a couple people on the show. They'll share it with a couple of their peoples. And next thing you know, it's an MCI explosion. Your stock is running, right? Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you too, Taylor. I know you're there.
I'm here.
I always take that for granted. We'll see you next week, folks. Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm John Zidar. This is my friend Taylor. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I'm clicking the button, so it's actually clicked.